2,400 years ago, long before the rise of the great medieval kingdoms of Bengal, before the Mughal banners fluttered across the delta, and centuries before European ships touched its shores. A city pulsed with life beside the shifting channels of the ancient Brahmaputra. Traders counted silver coins stamped with mysterious symbols. Iron furnaces glowed against the dusk. Boats heavy with goods slipped silently along river routes that connected this land to distant empires. This was Wari-Bateshwar, one of the earliest known urban civilizations in Bengal, flourishing around the 4th century BCE. For generations, the quiet villages of Wari and Bateshwar in present-day Narsingdi district of Bangladesh concealed a secret beneath their soil. Farmers occasionally unearthed unusual artifacts while plowing their fields, strange silver coins marked with tiny geometric symbols, fragments of pottery unlike the common earthenware used in nearby homes, and curious semi-precious stone beads. To local villagers, these were intriguing relics. To historians, once properly examined, they would become revolutionary evidence. The story of rediscovery began in the 20th century, when local researcher Habibullah Patan began collecting coins and artifacts found in the area. His curiosity sparked wider interest. Later, archaeologist Sufi Mostafizur Rahman conducted systematic excavations beginning in the 2000s, revealing the true scale of what lay buried. What emerged from the earth was astonishing. The remains of a fortified urban settlement dating back at least to around 400 BCE, possibly even earlier. The city was not a simple village. It was organized, planned, and defended. Archaeologists uncovered evidence of a massive mud rampart, nearly 5 kilometers long, encircling the settlement. Such fortifications indicate not only urban sophistication, but also political organization and awareness of external threats. This was a city conscious of its power and vulnerability. Within the fortified zone, excavations revealed structured habitation layers, roads, and industrial zones. The urban planning showed signs of deliberate design rather than organic growth. Pottery shards included northern black polished ware, NBPW, a fine ceramic associated with early historic urban centers of the Indian subcontinent. Its presence linked Wari-Bateshwar to the broader Gangetic urban culture that flourished during the time of the Mahajanapadas. But perhaps the most electrifying discovery was the collection of punch-marked silver coins. These small, irregular pieces of silver bore multiple symbols, sun motifs, geometric patterns, animals, and other abstract marks. Punch-marked coins are considered among the earliest forms of metallic currency in South Asia. Their presence at Wari-Bateshwar confirmed that this settlement participated in monetized trade at a remarkably early date. The use of such coins suggests economic complexity. Trade was not limited to barter. Standardized currency facilitated long-distance exchange. Wari-Bateshwar was not isolated. It was integrated into extensive trade networks. Its location was strategic. In antiquity, the Brahmaputra flowed closer to this region, making it a significant river port. Riverine transport was the lifeblood of Bengal, and Wari-Bateshwar appears to have been positioned along a crucial trade artery connecting eastern India to northern India and beyond. Archaeologists also discovered large quantities of beads made from semi-precious stones such as carnelian and agate. Bead-making workshops indicate specialized craftsmanship. Carnelian beads in particular were prized commodities in ancient trade networks stretching from India to the Mediterranean. Similar beads have been found in Roman sites. Though direct evidence of Roman ships docking in Bengal remains debated, there is little doubt that goods from eastern India traveled westward through complex trade routes that ultimately linked to the Roman world. The ancient text known as the Periplus of the Erythraean Sea, a 1st century CE Greek navigational guide, mentions trade with regions east of the Ganges. While Wari-Bateshwar predates this text by several centuries, it existed within the same long tradition of maritime and riverine commerce that later connected Bengal to global trade systems. The idea that a settlement in present-day Bangladesh participated directly or indirectly in exchange networks reaching toward the Mediterranean world reshapes how we understand early globalization. Iron tools found at the site provide further insight. The 4th century BCE was part of the Iron Age in South Asia, and iron technology enabled agricultural expansion, forest clearing, and military strength. Wari-Bateshwar's iron artifacts suggest a society capable of producing and utilizing advanced metallurgical techniques. Combined with its fortified walls, this implies both economic prosperity and defensive preparedness. The city likely functioned as a regional hub. Farmers from surrounding rural areas would have brought surplus crops, rice, lentils, oilseeds into the city. Artisans shaped beads, forged tools, and crafted pottery. Merchants managed the flow of goods along waterways. The presence of coinage implies taxation, trade regulation, or state authority. Yet the exact political structure remains elusive. Was Wari-Bateshwar part of a larger kingdom? Or was it an independent city-state, integrated into broader cultural spheres? Some scholars speculate that it may have been linked to the ancient region of Samatata, referenced in later historical texts. Others suggest connections to the Gangaridai, a powerful people described by Greek historians who wrote about Alexander the Great's campaigns in India. Though Alexander never reached Bengal, Greek accounts describe formidable eastern kingdoms beyond the Ganges. Whether Wari-Bateshwar belonged to such a polity remains uncertain, but its scale and sophistication suggest it was no minor settlement. As centuries passed, river courses shifted a common phenomenon in the Bengal Delta. The Brahmaputra changed its path, altering trade routes and economic centers. Cities dependent on waterways could decline rapidly if cut off from their lifelines. It is possible that environmental changes contributed to Wari-Bateshwar's eventual abandonment. By the early centuries CE, other urban centers rose in prominence, while this once thriving city faded into obscurity. Layers of soil gradually covered the remnants of streets and workshops. New generations built villages above the ruins, unaware that beneath their feet lay the foundations of one of Bengal's earliest urban experiments. The rediscovery of Wari-Bateshwar challenges long-held assumptions about the timeline of urbanization in Bengal. For decades, historians believed that complex urban settlements emerged in this region primarily during the early medieval period. The evidence from Wari-Bateshwar pushes that narrative back several centuries. It demonstrates that Bengal was not a peripheral backwater, but an active participant in early South Asian civilization. Its fortified walls, standardized coinage, industrial production, and trade networks align it with contemporary urban centers in northern India. It stands as proof that the Delta region, often viewed as geographically unstable and marginal, was in fact a dynamic and innovative space in antiquity. There is also something profoundly human in this story. Imagine the bustling marketplace within the ramparts, merchants arguing over the weight of silver coins, bead makers polishing stones until they gleamed, children running along packed earth roads, priests conducting rituals, guards watching from earthen walls as boats approached along the river, the sounds of hammering iron, the scent of fired clay, the shimmer of carnelian beads catching the sunlight. These details transform archaeological data into lived experience. Each punch-marked coin tells a story of trust and exchange. Currency is more than metal. It is a symbol of shared belief in value. The people of Wari-Bateshwar believed in a system that connected them to distant communities. Through trade, they participated in a world far larger than their immediate horizon. The site also underscores the importance of local initiative in uncovering history. Without the dedication of researchers and archaeologists, these artifacts might have continued to be dismissed as curiosities. Instead, they now occupy a significant place in discussions of early urbanism in South Asia. Globally, Wari-Bateshwar contributes to a broader rethinking of ancient connectivity. When we imagine the ancient world, we often focus on Rome, Greece, Egypt, or the Indus Valley. Yet, History is not composed only of the most famous civilizations. It is woven from countless centers of innovation, exchange, and adaptation. Wari-Bateshwar reminds us that the Bengal Delta was part of this tapestry. In an age when globalization seems like a modern phenomenon, this ancient city offers perspective. More than 2 millennia ago, communities here were already engaged in long-distance trade, standardized economic systems, and urban planning. They navigated environmental challenges, managed resources, and defended their city. They were innovators in their own right. Today, as archaeologists continue excavations, new questions emerge. How extensive were its trade connections? What languages were spoken within its walls? What religious practices shaped its spiritual life? Each layer of soil holds potential answers. Standing on the fields of Wari-Bateshwar now, one sees quiet rural landscapes, rice paddies stretching toward the horizon, gentle breezes moving through trees. It is difficult to imagine that beneath this tranquility lies the echo of a city that thrived over 2,400 years ago. Yet the coins, beads, ramparts, and pottery fragments testify silently to its existence. History often hides in plain sight. Wari-Bateshwar was never entirely lost. It was simply waiting to be understood. Its story bridges past and present, local and global, myth and material evidence. It challenges us to reconsider how we define civilization and where we look for its origins. In the end, Wari-Bateshwar is not merely an archaeological site. It is a symbol of Bengal's deep antiquity and its early engagement with the wider world. It reveals that the currents of trade, innovation, and urban life flowed strongly here long before recorded chronicles began to speak of the region. Beneath the soil of Bangladesh lies proof that history is far older, richer, and more interconnected than many once believed. And as excavations continue, the ancient city beside the forgotten channel of the Brahmaputra continues to whisper its remarkable story to the world.